All right, I think we got it. All right, hey, welcome in everybody. We are here. We are here for week 11 now of the college football season. We've got 4 weeks left, basically. A couple weeks until we get the rivalry weekend. We've got the college playoff, the first ranking coming out tonight, later at around 8:30, about an hour from now. I'll tell you what, this season has been. It's been a lot. You got a lot of teams that we thought were out of it that are shaping back into form. We've got a couple of teams that are shaking down middle of the season, back half of the season, and also we got a lot of coaching changes. I think half of the SEC by the end of the season looks like it's going to be brand new coaches, brand new philosophies, everything like that, and a lot of interim coaches going on. But hey, y'all tell me what are y'all thinking? I know this weekend we got a game between Bama at home taking on LSU. LSU's gotten rid of their coach, they're almost their entire coaching staff all the way up to looks like the AD and all the mess that's going on down there right now. But going into this game, what are y'all thinking? Coming off of the y'all had a bye this weekend, right? After
Yeah.
the South Carolina game. But tell me how are y'all feeling going into this one?
Yeah, I got a couple different things on this one right here. I think just talking about the game in particular is one that Bama just cannot trip up on. I think it is something they just got to stay focused. But when you think about the talent that LSU has outside of Brian Kelly, I'm really worried about talent wise. That's my only thing. And I think they're coming off a bye week as well. If y'all correct me if I'm wrong.
Yep.
So
Yep.
they got 2 weeks to kind of just figure out what's going on with their team. They're going to be hyped up for this game. If it was in Baton Rouge, I'd be a little more worried about the talent wise, talent versus talent. But before all the hoopla with Brian Kelly up exploded, LSU went in the transfer portal last year and got a great team
Yeah.
defensively, and I think offensively. When you look at them on paper, scratch what you've seen all season. When you look at them on paper, you're supposed to say this team is a playoff contender team. Now they got their coach out the way. Can the intern coach? I don't even know who the intern coach is, but it's got to be somebody that's got to be able to bring this team together. And I want to say I've seen some clips of the guy who I might think it is. I don't want to say that wrong, but I think he's kind of like a motivation type of coach, type of guy, rally the troops type of guy that can really just get them focused in one game scenario. So Bama, you are the team that we think you are at this point in the season. I don't think Bama's going to trip up on this. I think Bama knows exactly who they are at this point, knows exactly how to beat a team like this and how to be adjustable in these type of games. I got really Bama beating this one by like 10 to 14. I think it's going to be close. I just think because LSU has nothing else to lose. Those are the teams you got to watch out for, and a talented team that's had nothing to lose can definitely put people on upset alert. So I got Bama winning by 10 to 14. I think it's going to be close through 3 quarters. Bama's going to get a 2 point lead, two score lead late in the fourth to kind of just put your hands up in Brian Denny and move on to next week.
Yeah, this is a very interesting setup with everything that's going on down in Baton Rouge right now. Probably them leaving Baton Rouge and coming to Tuscaloosa is probably the best recipe that they got. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just to get out of there, just because it's just so much mess going on. You got the governor, actually calling the shots and firing people or whatever. Don't get me wrong, it needed to happen. Um, the athletic director who is gone, he put Florida in a bad pinch with the buyout for God, I can't remember what coach that was prior to. But anyway, he hasn't made the best decisions as an athletic director. So that leads me into the new blood, the things that could potentially trip Alabama up in this game, and there's a lot of things that could trip them up. One, I can't even call it a trap game because it's LSU. LSU should never be a trap game. LSU, like you said, Drew, they got too much talent. The boys that was down there at the beginning of the year are still there. Okay. They just hadn't been performing, but we've seen it happen before. You get the old guy out that nobody liked, and you get these cats down here wanting to play like they were supposed to be playing from the beginning of the season. Like this is the first game they playing for this new guy. I think his name is Frank Wilson. I think maybe his name is. If he's a motivator, if he gets these guys hyped and motivated and ready to go, and Bama comes out like Georgia comes out, in the first half of most games, LSU could mess around and beat Alabama this weekend. And I don't think it's too far fetched. that could potentially occur because it is LSU. But I don't know what this interim head coach's goals and what his dreams are as far as being a coach is concerned. But if he ever thought about wanting to be a head coach, now's his opportunity to show the world what he can do. You know what I mean? This is the stage. I mean, we're talking about all these different jobs that are open, and I'm sure we'll get into talking about this a little more, but specifically to this coach at LSU, the interim coach. There's no guarantee that once Lane Kiffin says no, or once Lane Kiffin decides that he's going to stay at Ole Miss, if that happens, I don't necessarily know that there is a splash hire out there. I think these athletic directors are going to be looking maybe internally, or long story short, this is this guy's opportunity to maybe become the head coach at LSU. And if he's thinking like that, and the LSU team is, they're trying to rally and maybe not make the playoff, but hold on to some dignity in this season, I think they can pull it off. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying they will, but they can. So with that being said, I've got an interesting game. I got a game that's a little closer than Alabama wants it to be. Bama's been playing so well, so efficient. It's almost time for that. I can't remember what year it was when Kiffin was coaching Tennessee, and we had a couple field goal blocks to win the game. It could be time for a game like that to test this potential championship team in Tuscaloosa and the Alabama Crimson Tide. But I think even if Bama does not play their best game, I still think that they can pull this game out. I've got Bama close again, like you said, Drew, a close one. I don't think a lot of points are going to be scored in this game because, like you said, talent is there on both sides of the ball. 24-17, 21-13, somewhere in that ballpark. I don't think any team scores over 25 points. I do think Bama pulls away late. It's going to be a much needed win. Bama is healthy. LSU is healthy. I think it's going to be a really, really good football game with Bama coming out on top. So definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah. And for me, you look from this outside looking in, you see a lot of teams that are going through coaching changes right now. And you kind of look and see you got a team that could go in two different directions. You got either they fold and just the morale is shot and they give up on the season. Everybody's just a mass exodus and so on and so forth, or they start playing their hearts out, like you said, Sean. And that's the same situation, kind of what's going on, or that we've seen already this season. What happened with UCLA, just for an example. They get that coach out of the way, the coordinators kind of take over, all the players rally for them, and now you've got a couple of big upsets that you're able to lean on going into week by week situations. I think something that's going for Bama right now, when you look at this team and when you're going against the LSU team that's as talented as they are, I think their defense is still going to be good as far as LSU's defense. But Bama has shown they've been tested now. You've seen a lot of their games that they've had this year. You've had the upset, so you've already had to deal with that. You've mentally prepared for that and came back from that and refocused for the rest of the season. And you've had your close games against, the Missouri game where it was kind of tight for a little bit there. The Vandy game at home where it was a little tight and then you pulled away at that one, and then now the South Carolina game where you had to share the scare all the way to at the end of the game where you had to pull that one out and battle back into that one with 8 minutes left to go, and all of that I think just it helps make up the morale, not the morale so much of the team, but you're looking at your mental state, like how tough are you going game in and game out. So now you're looking at a team that's probably as on looking at the rest of your schedule, the one team that's still as talented as you are, albeit they're not playing up to it, but they're as talented as you. But you've been there before. You've seen everything that everybody's been able to throw at you. You've been able to weather the storm here in and here out. So I tell you what, this is still going to be I'm going with y'all. I think it'll be a close game, even though it is at home. I've got looking at a 24. I like that score 24-17 type ball game where, LSU hangs around. It's a close game at half. And then in the second half, it's just like, all right, we just going to go ahead and get this over with. And hey, we know we can weather the storm. We can ride it out, get to the fourth quarter, get a couple of late scores, 2 touchdowns, and then boom, game is over type of ball game right there. But you look around the SEC right now, and there's so many, openings, there's so many teams. You look at the ending stretch for the season, and you're looking at what, three teams right now within the top five of the college football. Now we don't know what the rankings will be like at the end of tonight, but Georgia at five, A&M at three, Bama at four. You know, you look at these teams, and then you still got Ole Miss sitting right there at seven. You know, what are y'all thinking of? Those are probably going to be the perennial teams that'll be there at the end of the year. We don't know who will be in Atlanta because tiebreakers and so on and so forth. But looking at these teams, who are y'all thinking is going to be the teams that kind of like, hey, have the easiest push to make it to a champ? Which team looks like the most qualified to be a national championship team if you had to pick between those right now?
Natty makes that question tough.
Yeah.
To be honest with y'all, it kind of shocked the world. I'm going to say Texas A&M. I truly
Mm.
think Texas A&M right now, and we're just talking about the SEC. Leave Ohio State, leaving Indiana out of it. Just talking about the SEC teams that I think can be the SEC champ, go into the playoffs and make a run. I think Texas A&M right now has to be the leading contender of it all. Just because they are schedule-wise, I don't think they've been tested as much as these other teams. But when you watch what they did against LSU and how they did it against LSU, it's domination. It is, we are bigger, stronger, faster, better than you. Come try to stop us. And I think what we've been waiting for this year in college football is the team that has that type of run. Kind of like how what Ohio State looked like after their loss last season. Their run from their own point to the national championship looked like, you know what? That team might just be better than everybody else. That's the vibe I get from Texas A&M right now. And they got a couple more tests on their schedule. But even when you think about the strength of schedule going for the rest of the season, they kind of do got a clear path, at least to the SEC championship. You get into the playoffs right there, regardless to me. If you're in the SEC championship, making the playoff, if you lose or win. So especially if that's your first loss of the season, you're guaranteed slot in the SEC in the playoffs. And I think that is tough. To me, Bama still has LSU on their schedule, Oklahoma on their schedule, Auburn on their schedule. So it's still tough for me to say that they have the easiest path to really get to the playoffs or even national championship. Because I mean, I'm still, like I said, Sean, I still like you. I'm still almost waiting for a slip up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna pick Texas A&M.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think I would probably have to say the same thing. Me and my kid were having the same conversation about A&M. When you look at them, you watch them. They look the quarterback, man. They just look really good, man. I think it's the A&M that they were hoping to have when they put all that money and invest all that money in the Jimbo Fish.
Yeah.
This is what they were thinking. The type of athlete should be coming out of the tunnel at Texas A&M. You know what I'm saying? It's fine. They're finally here. They finally arrived into the Southeastern Conference this season. I think it's a combination of coaching, discipline, and then just timing, man. I mean, A&M is due. A&M is due. Now they do got a tricky one at the very end. Against Texas. Like I said, I saw some of that Texas game, and it still looks like Sark is a good coach. He's doing a really good job of designing and putting a game plan together for Arch. But when they play someone that's better than them, they're going to lose. I just had to say that real quick. I absolutely think A&M. You want to say Bama just based on the fact that they can absorb another loss, but you say they can, but they really can't, because if they end up playing A&M or in the SEC championship game and taking the L there, now we start to get into that discussion of, well, is it beneficial to go to the championship, to your conference championship game or not? If you're a team that's got 2 losses heading into that game, which Bama could very well be that team, so yeah, it's A&M for me to answer your question, Van, as far as who in the conference has the easiest path. But it's not just about the schedule. It's also about how good I've seen them look, against good competition. You know what I'm saying? They hadn't played the schedule that Bama has. No, they have not. But if they had, I think that their record would still be the same. So that's where I'm leaning right there.
Yeah, and I think it's the same, but I mean the thing that goes into A&M's favor is that they don't have any losses yet. So you still have to play Missouri, you still got to go on the road and play Texas. Those are 2 games that are on the road. How do you look at both of those games is going to be big. But I think the easiest path in my opinion, is Ole Miss. You've got the Citadel this weekend. You've got Florida, and then you got Mississippi State. Now, Ole Miss could pull a Ole Miss and end up
Mm-hmm.
losing to somebody like they have been for the last couple of seasons that they don't have no business losing to. But then you look at Georgia, same thing. Georgia still has to take on Texas and a testy Georgia Tech team at the end of the year. Bama still has Oklahoma after this week and end up Auburn game at Auburn at the end of the season. So it's real interesting. It's hard to tell with a month out, but playing on looking at how people are playing right now is another just giant question mark and test into saying, hey, a lot of people are playing good, but any given Sunday, anybody can lose. We've seen that multiple times this season already.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's gonna be real interesting going down the stretch of who can pull stuff out because I think a lot of these teams still have to play Mississippi State. Mississippi State's gonna be a team that's gonna they've tiptoed with an upset against every team I think they've played against that's better than them. And it's like, which one of these teams can they slip up with? Is it going to be Ole Miss, Georgia? Is it Bama? Bama? No, Bama don't have to play, but Ole Miss and Georgia. Can you trip up one of those two teams to kind of play spoiler finally in one of these weeks? Because they've been playing some lights out ball. They had Texas on the ropes and then let them off the hook with the special teams touchdown. So like I said, it's gonna be interesting. But also looking around the SEC, if you want to just keep the discussion here right now, which job opening is looking like the most impressive right now that you think is the most eye-opening one? Is it Florida? Is it LSU? Is it, you've got Arkansas out there, you got Auburn out there now, so on and so forth. Like, hey, which one is like, hey, everybody's eyeing on if you get your hands on this team, can you turn it around the most quickly?
It's LSU.
All day.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
LSU for the landslide on just that aspect. Now I think LSU and Florida are the two best jobs right now in the country.
Hmm.
I think Florida over Penn State. I think
Florida's two.
yeah, I think if you get in Florida and you are the right coach, you can turn that back into what it really was back in the day for what Florida name is. But I think for quickest turnaround, it's LSU. I think you can get a coach in there and almost be semifinals next year.
Hmm.
That's how fast I think that change can be for this type of team. Because if you get the right guy, recruits are going to swarm LSU. Like imagine if Dion went to LSU.
Yeah.
I don't think Dion as a coach can coach that deep into the playoffs, but I think he'll be able to get enough talent around him to let that team do what it needs to do. I think what you've seen this year in Dion is health issues have gotten in the way of his true coaching ability. I think that right now LSU is not going to look for something like that. They're going to look for a guy that's going to get him 200% effort in all aspects. But man, this LSU position right now, it's going to have the college football world on watch when after the season's over. I don't really know when they're going to make the announcement of a coach or who it can be. But I think if there's ever a shot for a big bang, it's LSU. And I think they're going to go NFL guy. But it's interesting to me.
They could, LSU is a machine kind of like that. LSU was talked about as that sleeping giant before Saban got there. And the thing about it is, all LSU was doing at the time was waiting on the right head coach, the right recruiter to come in and really cultivate, and water the grass and make sure that photosynthesis takes place, sunlight and all that good stuff. But everyone always knew that when the right person got to LSU, it was going to be it's just what you got: Saban, Ogeron, the other guy, the guy that ate the grass. These guys, this is a school that two coaches, Ogeron and the other guy, they really can't coach.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Them two guys, other guys that won championships really can't coach. But they won national championships in the Southeastern Conference at LSU. So yeah, I mean, LSU needs to be looking for someone that is going to be there for a while. They got to go younger. I've heard all this talk about bringing Saban back as a bridge. No, that's not what you don't need a bridge at LSU. You know what I'm saying? You don't need a bridge. You need to bring in your boy from Louisville, Jeff Brom. Bring Jeff Brom to LSU, and you watch LSU take off and fly for a long time in this conference. For a long time in this conference. LSU does not need Lane Kiffin. You know what I'm saying? Let Lane Kiffin stay at Ole Miss or go somewhere else.
Where I think he's gonna stay.
Yeah, and I think I think Lane Kiffin gonna stay with. He has no reason to leave Ole Miss either, really.
Unless they pull some out that pocketbook.
Well,
they get some numbers crazy.
Man, I don't know.
To me, LSU and Ole Miss are a lateral move.
Yes.
Ole Miss, Florida. Now, I think that's a downward move for Lane Kiffin. But I think
it's almost kind of like, I wouldn't call it a reset, but Florida is below Ole Miss right now.
Currently, yes.
Correct.
I think you've got some rebuilding to do.
And what you got to do with that organization, you got to change a lot in that organization.
Yeah.
I think LSU's a win-now organization. And I think that governor talking crazy because he part of the committee that wrote them checks last offseason.
Yeah. Well, don't forget, Lane Kiffin has a lot of sweat equity at Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin has built Ole Miss into what they are today. And I don't know, I would love to know what Lane Kiffin feels about the job that he's done there at Ole Miss. You know what I'm saying? Because Hugh Freeze did a great job at Ole Miss for a couple years. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like Ole Miss is a place where, it's always just been a doormat. You know what I'm saying? Like, decent coaches and decent players and teams.
Y'all thinking about it wrong, though. I think y'all thinking about it wrong from Lane Kiffin's standpoint. I don't think he has to lose anything by going to LSU.
Right.
I think he has to worry about who the hell will go to LSU.
Yeah.
Now, if we got to have a SEC opportunity right here for Ole Miss in the same recruiting standpoint, y'all are right next door to each other.
Right.
You get the wrong coach to go to LSU, it's going to take a lot from Lane Kiffin in Ole Miss because of what LSU is. Now, my thing is, if Lane Kiffin's like, you know what, I want to turn my career into what Nick Saban has, he goes to LSU.
True. Yeah. If that's what he wants, he goes to LSU.
Because that can go to a place, and it can either be pros and cons with it. But if you think that I could do this type of realm, and let's say, I don't know the real dates, or let's say in 5 years with Ole Miss, what can you do in 5 years at LSU? It's scary.
Yep.
It's truly scary. And I think that type of offense and type of talent he'll be working right, he hasn't seen that since Alabama. Mm-hmm. Even with what he has right now at Ole Miss, he has certain parts of his game, certain parts of his team are deficit.
True.
I think right now his quarterback play is overlooking a lot of stuff that his team faults in because he's saving them in a lot of areas. But at LSU, Lane Kiffin, to me, and I think there's maybe like 5 coaches I think about like that at LSU. It'll just be like, you know what? If they go win 7 national championships in the next 15 years, there's nothing I can say about it because that's what that position is lined up to be if you hit the home run. Now, the name you were struggling with, Sean, was Les Miles. Les Miles, Orgeron, Brian Kelly. Well, I mean, you got a couple championships with Les Miles. You got a couple championships with Orgeron. You got championships with these guys. But I don't think since that realm or since Nick Saban, you got that coach that you're just 1,000% confident in.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's like we always got a coach. There's an asterisk by it. Like we might have to worry about this issue right here. And it was with all 3 of those guys, Les Miles, Orgeron, and Brian Kelly.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. If you get a true builder, like somebody like a Nick Saban type name in that door, man, it's scary. I think it's almost like I know it's a different scenario, but it's almost like Kirby Smart going to Georgia.
Yeah.
He knew he can get that Georgia job. It's kind of like if I get this job, I don't have to go nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Lane Kiffin could be at LSU, and I don't care what other job opportunity comes out in the country. He does never have to even worry about leaving.
Right.
Because of the name of LSU, we do got to talk about it when it's Ole Miss versus LSU, just because of who Ole Miss is. But LSU, they are top 3, top 4 schools in just history of schools in the country.
Yeah.
It's a huge opportunity, and they can write a check that's going to be.
Yeah.
I feel they got to move too far. We just got to.
But what's interesting? One of y'all said something about NFL. With the transfer portal, with college football starting to appear more and more like the National Football League and free agency and things of this nature, you might end up with NFL coaches that want to dabble in college now because of the buyouts and because of the, because college coaches are making more than some of the NFL coaches. Some of these guys, we talk about 13,
especially some of these top coordinators that are in the NFL. They're
right?
looking at
Yeah, for sure. I mean, why the heck not? I mean, I don't have to be on the recruiting trail, all year. I can hire staff members to work the portal, and I can say, hey, I want to get this guy. And these people handle the money. I don't touch the money. I say, hey, I want this guy. How much is it going to take? I don't do none of that. I just say I want him. So almost like general manager type.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about it earlier today. I was like, all these jobs open, even the Auburn job is. I was listening to somebody on the radio today. You're talking about the Auburn job, and we kind of laugh at it. Auburn's kind of been a little bit of a laughingstock here the past few years with Brian Harsin, and they haven't got their coaching right. But Auburn is like Carolina, the atmosphere. You go to a home game down at Jordan-Hare Stadium, they could be 2-8.
Yeah.
And they let that eagle fly. And I mean, these folks are going nuts in that stadium. You know what I'm saying? And they can
Bama gonna see in a couple weeks. Bama gonna see in a couple weeks.
It's packed out.
It happens. It's every week. You know what I'm saying? Auburn is a really good job for the right person. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're talking about really good jobs and not enough proven commodities at head coach to fill them currently. You know what I'm saying? There's not. You take the guys away. Take the guys off the table. They're not going to leave their jobs right now. Dan Lanning is not leaving Oregon. You're not getting Elko from A&M. You're not getting Cignetti from Indiana. He just signed an extension. You're not taking Rule from Indiana. From Nebraska. He just signed an extension. Yeah. There's only a few. DeBoer is not going anywhere, and it's so crazy. I don't even know if anyone. I ain't even heard his name. Like
nobody's gonna ask. Nobody's calling. Yeah,
ain't nobody even calling him. It's like, granted, he just got to Bama now. Don't get it wrong, but like if he was that good, would his name come up some? I don't know.
He ain't that good.
He ain't that good. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he's that good because I have
the names you got to look out for, in my opinion, are your Drinkwitz at Missouri. What he's done with Missouri. If he gets his hand on a Florida, what does he do?
Right.
Same thing with Clark Lee. Clark Lee at Vandy right now. He's gonna be a name that I think everybody around, not even the SEC, but looking at national wise, a lot of people are gonna start looking at Clark Lee, which is crazy to talk about. But the fact of they see how his team's playing, he's learned that a lesson that I think Shane Beamer's learning right now is, hey, I'm not good in this area, which was offense. I'm going to go hire somebody and take my hands off the wheel and let them do it. And now you're seeing the results of that. And now that he's learned that, that's half the battle for head coaches nowadays is saying, hey, I just need to manage what's going on. I let these other people handle and drive the bus. I think those two names, are two names definitely in the SEC that I think could go lateral moves. Could you see Eli leave Missouri and go take Florida, which I hear his name's going up along the ways of, and what he's done at Missouri? What could you see him doing with Florida's resources?
And look, the thing about Eli is Eli Drinkwitz at Missouri. He's done the same. We've been doing this podcast 3 years now.
Mm-hmm.
He's done the same thing for the last 3 years, right? We talk about it now. He's schedule week, and then But listen, he's a household name now.
Right.
Now might be the time for him to go ahead and make a move just based on the fact that we understand he's a front loader. Like, I'm not saying he's not a good coach. I think the guy's a good coach, but now you stay at Missouri, people they're gonna call you a fraud in a minute.
It's what happened with Mark Stoops at Kentucky. People learn that
he stayed too long.
He falls, he trips and falls into 8-9 win seasons because of how it's scheduled. Now you floated there so long and too long where you're never gonna get fired.
Right.
But nobody's picking up the phone to come call.
Ain't nobody calling you.
But he wouldn't be a top candidate for Florida though. He's like a second option for them.
You talking about Eli?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think Florida's calling him first. I think Florida's trying to get a big recruiting
splash. Yeah.
I think they have to get something that's going to put their name with just this coach on there back at the top. I don't think Florida's in a realm where they can go another 4 years without nothing big happening.
Have they called Dion?
First of all, I don't think
I think Deion's
anybody.
getting
A lot
ready
of
to
teams
exit
are.
college football.
Yeah, I think he's more like I don't know if I'm coaching no more type thing.
Yeah.
This experiment's over. Yeah,
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
health wise.
That's what I think it is, and I think he's gonna be at Colorado for a couple more years. But I don't know if he's trying to. I don't know if he still has that itch to go get what he was looking for when he first came, just for health issues. Now he
Right.
could do it, and now if Deion went to Florida, that'll be a staple.
Yeah.
I don't worry about it because I look at him as a coach and just say I don't think that you could just beat me X and O's wise from a coaching standpoint. But when you think of what he can bring to the talent room,
Exactly. That's the
if he goes to
dangerous part
Florida,
with Deion.
if he goes to Florida, you're going to snatch so many recruits in Florida, in that
Yep.
Southern Georgia area. Your locker room is going to look more like what a Texas A&M looks right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that's what your locker room is going to look like. You don't have to me, have 10 out of 10 coaching with that type of locker room. But it's got to be somebody that can have that type of atmosphere to Florida. And before the LSU job came available, I was thinking somehow you got to figure out how to get Lane Kiffin. But now that LSU's getting there, I'm like, Lane Kiffin, you don't got to go. Like, you don't have to go. There's
Right.
only one school I feel like Lane Kiffin would have to go to, and that's LSU. If he'd leave anybody, he has to go to LSU. But for a Florida standpoint, I really want to see them get somebody or go after somebody like Marcus Freeman or somebody like that. Like just a wholesome, I can recruit, I can coach, but I'm going to bring the right type of atmosphere to Florida that can bring these guys in this area to my team. That's what it really was. When Florida started losing them South Florida guys, them South Georgia guys like that, a lot changed for them.
Man, you said Marcus Freeman. Do you know that this man, he is the one coach in college football right now that ain't got to do nothing as long as Notre Dame is not in a conference?
Yep.
Yeah,
That would be the dumbest thing in the world for
He
him to
said he
go.
already turned down Florida. Florida's already called, and he said no.
Yeah, this man don't need to go nowhere. Listen, you running an ACC schedule. Okay, you run an ACC schedule. You are guaranteed a playoff spot with two losses every year.
Every year.
You're guaranteed to play. So you're the only school in the country, in my opinion, that can lose 2 games guaranteed and make it, regardless of who those losses are to. You see how far down they were on Notre Dame when this season started? They took Notre Dame and swept their behinds under the rug, took the rug out to the dumpster. And when the man that was driving the dump truck came to take that thing and put it back like this, he said, wait a minute, Notre Dame's in here to get him out. He stopped the dump truck when it got Notre Dame and put him back on the ground and dumped the rest of the garbage out and put the thing back down. Notre Dame is going to always be alive for a college football playoff spot. Marcus Freeman will
I'll ask this question though. Do y'all see Marcus Freeman as a coach that'll be okay with never winning a national championship?
No, I don't think that, but he's just getting started.
Not winning a national championship at Notre Dame.
Yeah, no, but he's just getting started though. All he's gonna do.
Come on, now. We doing this for 3 years. You got a time limit. You got about another year and a half, 2 years to really stamp your next 10 years in this college football realm. Notre Dame is not getting the type of recruits they need to beat Ohio State.
They never will though.
They never will.
There's an opportunity for Marcus Freeman we're talking about LSU, guys. This team, I'm leaving. Hey, look, if somebody call up on LSU, I'm leaving whatever I'm at.
I'm not leaving Notre Dame.
I'm going, bro. Trust, because my thing is, you got the world in your hands at LSU. If you can continue doing what you're just doing right now.
There's no pressure at Notre Dame. There's no pressure
at all. It is going to be pressure because it's going to change into a Super Bowl realm rather than a national championship realm. It's going to change into we need a Super Bowl on your coaching record for college people.
Well, Notre Dame need to change their doggone admission standards for that to happen then. I think Notre Dame is fully aware that they are not prepared academically to win a national championship.
I think they're looking at, we could, just like last season, we can trip and fall our way into the national championship game.
Yeah.
We might slip up and win one.
They've done it. They've done it 4 times.
We've seen that before, though. We've seen this before, though. It's insanity to think that because we've seen it time and time before.
Oh, I think it's stupid as hell.
Yeah.
He's dumb as hell.
But
Notre
I
Dame
don't think
can do that. They
he
can
would
get to a
ever
national
fire. I don't
championship.
think they would ever fire him. I don't
And
think they would ever.
if getting to a national championship,
My point.
if getting to a national championship is what Marcus Freeman is looking for, stay where you're at. But we're
Right.
talking about winning multiple.
I agree
I
with
don't
you.
know,
They won't
man.
win
Look,
one.
I think the next coach that goes to LSU has an opportunity to win multiple.
Yeah.
Look, we don't know what Marcus Freeman
Championship.
getting paid either. That's a private institution over there. That man might be making $20 million over there. We don't know.
He can go make the same amount of LSU.
They'll probably open the checkbook up too with a lot more stress.
If it's his name, I promise you, it will be
look how
more stress.
quick-
It will be more stress. But my thing is, LSU has got the wrong type of coach to coach their players.
Yeah.
I hate to turn
You're
to
right.
anything, but you got to know how to coach some black guys.
You're right.
Really, not no blue collar black. We got some
Yeah.
ghetto black in there. We got to be able to talk to them and coach them nowadays.
We got
But
some
look,
nickels
but look.
and dimes up in
We gotta
there.
have a type.
Look,
We gotta make a
look.
home run hit right now. LSU is going to turn into like a middle of the pack team. If we don't hit this home run.
I hear you, but look,
some teams.
But look, when it comes to Marcus Freeman, you got two choices. And my biggest thing with LSU is look how quick they are to pull the plug on somebody.
Heck
So
yeah.
if you go down there and after 3 seasons,
The governor firing people.
yo, you getting out of there versus at Notre Dame, you talking about the same amount of money at each. If you talking the same amount of money, you at Notre Dame where they'll never get rid of you, you're going to be in the playoffs. If you don't make it to the playoffs within 3 seasons, and you can make the playoffs, if you don't make it out the first round of the playoffs at LSU within 3 seasons, they're going to get you out of there.
If they got a better coach, they'll be undefeated right now.
I'm with you too now. Listen,
Yeah.
I'm so with you. And I'm sure Marcus Freeman is probably having this discussion with his wife or whoever.
All right, but you know the difference? I feel y'all. The difference is Marcus Freeman, look, all growing up, I saw some video of him earlier. All growing up, I'm this black guy. He get to Notre Dame, I'm this Asian guy. You know, I'm totally different. He shies away from the type of stuff that Notre Dame really loves about him. Lane Kiffin will leave a place like that to go to LSU because he really got it in him to really go get what's up there because he believes he can go get it. I don't know if Marcus Freeman do it. Just talking about names though, if I'm LSU or even Florida, I'm calling his phone.
Yeah.
I'm calling his phone saying whatever
him.
you got in Notre Dame, we can provide the same thing here, but the level of legendary that you can become here is 10 times bigger than what you can be at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
See, man, I said it before, I would call Jeff Brom before I would call Marcus Freeman. Jeff Brom at Louisville before I called Marcus Freeman.
For
Jeff
Florida,
Brom,
LSU, okay.
LSU. That would be my phone call. Now, I would tell Jeff Brom. Now here's the thing. I get it. LSU is in no position to start taking back seats, right? Because the conference is just getting better at the top. And currently, LSU is still being talked about at the top of this conference. So we cannot take a slide. We need consistency. That's where Marcus Freeman will come in to be a great head coach at LSU because we know what he's going to bring, and he ain't got to be that dynamic to do it. Well, Jeff Brom is the same way. He's the same guy, but he actually is already coaching some of these nickels and dimes that we got down there at LSU. He's already doing it at the University of Louisville at about as high of a level as you're going to be able to do it at Louisville. You know what I'm saying? He's got the name. You know what I'm saying? He's a quarterback guy. He's got everything that you already need. He just doesn't really have the cachet. You know what I'm saying? And I think
he's not going to get it for years.
You know, but here's the other thing. If you grab a guy that, and this is what I think these athletic directors and governors are going to start talking about. These buyouts are they are about to be a problem, or maybe not a problem anymore. If you say, Jeff Brom, I'm going to offer you the head coaching job at LSU. You're coming from Louisville. I'm going to offer you $13.5 million a year. You have no buyout, but you're coaching the absolute most talented team we feel in the country, right? You do your job. I'm going to give you 3 years to get your stuff in order, to get this train moving in the right direction. We believe you're the guy. But if they can do it without paying him a buyout, and he's just as equally talented as a Marcus Freeman, a name that's going to probably demand a buyout, heck no. I'm getting away from a buyout too. So I'm calling Jeff Brom. That's my guy.
And if I'm LSU and I'm trying to get a guy within 5 years, might build something that's a SEC championship, national championship type contender, I'll call him. But I got about 5 to 10 people I'm gonna call before that. I got about 5 to 10 I'm gonna call before that. And if they don't answer my phone, then yeah, I'm gonna get down to that list, start crossing some names off. But I'm talking about these top 5 guys they're probably gonna call, they're gonna get one of them.
Yeah.
They're gonna get one of them. Now the residue, if I'm like a guy like Jeff Brom or I'm a guy like Eli from Missouri, I'm taking if that answer from an LSU, from a Penn State, those type of Auburn, and I'm going ASAP. Because those are more organizations that I see will be more open to pressure-wise a 5-year run. In 5 years, if you do the same thing you just did right now with Louisville and Florida, in 5 years, you're golden down there. You're going to
get a job. You're going to get a job in the SEC.
Like that. But I just think LSU is a step above what those other contenders would be, and I think they gotta get. They're gonna pull somebody.
Yeah.
They're gonna pull somebody just because they have to, and I just think that's what it is. You have to. We got to go
really
all out on this next coach and hope and pray to the Lord we hit it on the nail.
There's a lot to lose for LSU if they get it wrong.
Which I think, for me, the only thing, if you can't get one of those top 2 college guys, you got to go pro.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right. Real quick, if y'all want to tune in to the college football playoff rankings real quick, they're up to 11. Oklahoma's at 12. Texas
Buffalo's got ESPN.
They got Louisville at 15. Virginia at 14. 13 is Utah. Oklahoma and Texas right behind each other.
Man, y'all know they trying to put Texas back in this thing, right?
They want to so bad.
They want to so bad.
Listen.
All right, here, real quick.
Here's our recipe: 1 conference, 1 non-conference.
Right. Real quick.
They qualified. They qualified right now.
Yeah. Notre Dame's at 10. And you know they like to talk in between these doggone releases. But yeah, they trying to squeak Texas in. They giving them all the grace in the world to get an Arch Manning in the playoffs.
Let me look at Notre Dame's schedule. Hold on one second. Let me tell you right now.
I bet you they don't got nobody hard left on their schedule.
Notre Dame is in the playoff.
Yeah.
In the playoff.
I mean, if we're looking at what we're trying to design, the 12 best teams, they're one of the 12.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
they're one of the 12. They're not.
They just have the most advantageous schedule of any team.
But even if you give them a harder schedule, they're a top team. They're up there in the top 12. Yeah. We can't name 15 better.
True.
Yeah.
True.
It's just like we said, they just can't lose more than 2 games.
Right.
If you got a conference, you can lose 1 out of conference game and 1 conference game and still be a top 15 team.
Right.
Alabama, LSU, and South Carolina lost 3 last year, and they all was like top close around that realm.
Top 15, yeah.
Third loss is going to pick a lot of teams out, but you got to get that 3rd loss.
Yeah. And we hadn't talked about none of these other teams as far as like the Big Ten or anything because they got Oregon at 9.
I want to see them just. I'll be able to have a little bit of a better discussion about them when it's all said and done because they backload they schedule so bad. You know what I'm saying? Like it's almost not even worth talking about right now.
Yeah, it's really not. Because I mean, what are we talking about? Ohio State versus Missouri.
Yeah. I saw Indiana. Indiana looked great, but they're playing Maryland.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'll give it to you.
But real quick, sticking on Texas though.
Yeah.
We really gotta. Texas beating Oklahoma was the
saving win. That did happen.
It was a season, and the way they did it wasn't just like a kick the field goal. They beat Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But it's almost like we was almost waiting for all these teams to get their 3rd loss, and some of them just didn't get that 3rd loss.
Yeah. It hadn't happened yet, right?
Yeah, right. We're still back in our minds, but it's like they haven't been eliminated yet.
Right.
I know it's just the first ranking. We still got a lot of football to play, but
Okay. But we all know that Texas is not going to be A&M at the end of the year.
Correct.
Which Texas is going to be. They're going to be out. It's just currently.
It's just not eliminated yet.
They got Ole Miss at 6.
Damn.
which means you got Georgia, Bama, Texas A&M in the top 5 right
It's
now.
gonna be. I don't know who's gonna be 5.
Ohio State gonna be 1. Ohio State's at 1. The
Indiana at 2.
questions, you think
Indiana at
Indiana's gonna be
3.
2?
Indiana, yes, sir.
I think Indiana should actually be 1.
I think so too.
Georgia's at 5.
And listen, and I wouldn't be
There's gonna be
surprised if they
Georgia,
don't put them
Bama,
at
Texas
1.
A&M, Indiana, Ohio State.
Bama's at 4. So that means Texas A&M's what, 3, or Indiana's 3?
No. Indiana's 1 or 2.
A&M is 3, which means Indiana's 2.
No.
Ohio State's 1.
Ohio State's gonna be 1.
Have they called it yet?
They're doing 2 right now. They just
I'm
did
calling
number
Indiana. I'm calling Ohio State to be number 2.
3. You calling Ohio State number 2?
I'm calling Ohio State number 2.
They're not gonna do it just because of the national championship. Hey.
There's too much like right.
They got a better coach. If we got to be honest, I think they got a better coach.
They got the win. Let's see what this committee's talking about this year. You know what I'm saying? Y'all gonna do it right or not?
What did they? What was the strength of schedule was bad last year?
Right.
So now they say Indiana's at 2. Ohio State is 1.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah. So
it'll sit the first
like
ranking. I thought that's how it would be. I thought
the
the first ranking would line up a lot like how the actual rankings came out.
Yeah.
But
that's interesting.
But man, Indiana's, I think they're legit.
They are legit. So? They are legit.
I think if you're trying to say as the Big Ten overall, I don't want to count Indiana as like one of those great Big Ten teams. But if I get into the playoffs, they could beat a team. They can get 2 wins in the playoffs.
They can.
I think that's just Cignetti. I think he's that type of coach. He knows how to win games.
They can do that.
I don't know. And I didn't think, after watching a couple of his interviews, I don't think he's the type of guy that would leave Indiana. I think he was almost about to retire before he got that call. Yeah. But I think that he is a coach right now that has the recipe to beat big time teams.
Yeah. Plus, I think he's sitting in a situation where your schedule is going to always kind of like a Marcus Freeman type of situation. You're going to have maybe 1 or 2 real tough games a year, but outside of that, you should cakewalk everybody else.
Yep. He just got to get folks talking about Indiana like he's starting to do. You know what I'm saying?
You know what's crazy? What if Ohio State loses to Michigan and loses in the Big Ten championship?
Wouldn't that be crazy?
They still gonna be in.
That would be tough.
Yeah.
That's 2 conference losses. That's tough.
Yeah, that would be tough. Yeah, it's gonna. Listen,
it's just because they're at 1. I think that's the issue. You're not gonna drop them out of the top 12.
If they lose 1, I'm not. But if they lose 2 back to back, I will put them at the cusp of 12. And the top 12 teams not getting there. One of them has got to be from a non-power 5.
Right. So really 11. We talking about really 11.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, we got a couple weeks to figure that out.
Yeah. I said that. I thought it was in there. I was like, oh, go ask Virginia. Man, the ACC is such a joke.
Yeah.
But I also think, Sean, I don't think Notre Dame's gonna be able to stay on conference for long.
They gotta pick. They're gonna have to.
I wish college football would figure out a way to almost force them into a conference. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think that's where it's headed. I think the conversations were had this offseason that was like, hey, it's almost like everybody universally recognized that, hey, you're cheating the system.
It's not fair.
You're really cheating the system. You got to do something. Because, I mean, you look at, and what's crazy is, as much as NIL is a big factor and as much money as they make in the playoffs each year, because, you know, your playoff games you win you get portion goes to the school, the other portion goes to your conference. They get the whole thing. So that national championship appearance last year, they ain't had to split that with nobody.
Right.
And they still not really, it's like you said, that being admitted to that school is what's kind of keeping them back. But I think a lot of people are looking at them like, hey, if you're basically playing in the ACC, it's time for you to join. All their other sports are in it. Basketball, all these other sports, they're already in the ACC. They're ACC sponsored.
Right.
It's time for the football team to join in. It's time for you to go join.
But again, think what you just said. Why in the world would
you do it? Right.
If you know you can lose 2 games and still make it, and if you happen to squeak a couple of wins out when you get to the CFP, all that money comes to you. They're playing the long game,
Well,
y'all.
the college football playoffs is they're gonna stop that.
Right? Yeah, they should. Right? It's not. It is not fair.
What's going to end up happening is they're going to put them in. They're going to upset this group of 5 team that gets their one bid. It's going to be like, all right, we're going to put you in with them. You don't get to be separate from them.
Right.
We're
Right.
giving them all these other people one team to get in. Let one of those teams be undefeated, and they say, "Oh, Notre Dame, you got 2 losses. We letting them in over you." That'll change their mind real quick when you get to the SEC trying to get 4 teams guaranteed, the ACC trying to get the number of teams guaranteed, the Big Ten trying to get a number of teams guaranteed. You've got conferences that you can join, have 2, 3 losses, be guaranteed. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to force their hand. They
So
say,
my
all right,
thing
we're going to
is,
be
real
excluded
quick,
from all these conversations.
y'all might know this better than me, but is the NCAA and college football playoff the same committee?
No,
The college football can make certain rules that keeps a team like Notre Dame out.
they
Yeah.
can't. They
And with
can't.
a lot of this stuff's going to change, that's what I think it's going to be. I think it's going to go back to Sean's first statement. There's going to get a point in the next 2 to 3 years that this college football committee is going to force Notre Dame to get to this area.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because Notre Dame is currently operating like Jerry Jones is operating the Cowboys. It's like we're making so much money, regardless of whether we win Super Bowls or not. We are a machine. You know what I'm saying?
I'll be cool with that. I'll be cool with that.
And Notre Dame is cool with that. They are completely cool with that.
But my biggest thing is I'm not going to see Notre Dame truly change until I see them start getting back to true quarterbacks.
Yes.
I think they're trying to do makeshift quarterbacks with an overall decently talented team, which you can get far. I think you can get nowadays, you can get to semifinals, might get an upset win against some teams that just get a luck of a slate and just get there. But I mean, I don't see them truly winning because in that big game, I never have the guy that can make the big time plays. They just never have that guy. They wanted to be Jeremiah Love, but somebody's gonna shut that run game down. It's gonna be in CJ Carr's hands. And I've been watching some highlights and some film on him all year, and it's the certain throws you just like, yeah, he just not it.
You just don't say it. No.
Right. But I'll say this: the guy from Indiana, I forgot how to pronounce his name. I want to say it's like Friendoza or something like that.
Yeah, I like him.
He as a quarterback is interesting.
He's like a Pavia 2.0 to me.
Yeah, I mean, but he's got a little more accuracy. He's got a little more accuracy than I say Pavia has. And for when you against some of these big time teams and you got a quarterback that's real accurate, man, that's what's gonna get you there. That's what's gonna get you there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we'll see how it turns out. But hey, we'll see how this weekend goes, and we'll circle the wagons and come back to it. And we got a month left of regular season before we get conference championships and then playoff time. So it'll be real. We'll circle back around. But thanks everybody for tuning in. Leave a comment, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Everything in between. And we appreciate y'all joining in. We've got a lot more engagement going on the channel right now. We really do appreciate it. We get to you. But until then, we'll see y'all next week.